Hello everyone and welcome back to my Let's Play Minecraft series, Season 3. I did the portals like I said I was going to do last episode. We have this one which goes here. This one goes to the middle here, where our center is. Right there. And then from here, let's see, where are we? That one also goes to the middle, and this one goes to the beach area. So a fast way to get around, and we're going to grab a few furnaces here. One of these has coal in it, I think. And bring them to the middle. Yeah, that one has coal. Go. I also went exploring in the Nether a little bit more and found another few Nether fortresses. I did not find a double blaze spawner anywhere. Let's turn this down a little bit. But I did find one Nether fortress that might be good to turn into a wither skeleton spawner. But we're not going to do that this episode. This episode we are going to build a mob spawner for ourselves because I need lots and lots of TNT, and I do not have equivalent exchange to help me with all the terraforming I need to do. So there's a few things we need to consider when we build a mob spawner. Some of them are pretty well known and some of them are less known. First one, no mobs will spawn within 24 blocks of the player. At 32 blocks and further away, mobs will stop moving after a couple of seconds. Between 32 blocks and 128 blocks, spherical, that means it counts the Y. Mobs will randomly despawn. I believe it's an even probability, so it doesn't matter. Ones that are 40 blocks away or ones that are 100 blocks away have an equal chance of despawning. The closer ones don't have a less chance of despawning than the further ones away. It's all the same. Then greater than 128 blocks away, spherical, they will instantly despawn. However, something that is not often considered is that how spawning works. It's 15 by 15 chunks centered on the player. That means it does not count the Y. So you can have mobs that will spawn outside of 128 blocks and then they'll instantly despawn, which if you build a very tall mob spawner, you'll actually be decreasing the rates of spawning because they're spawning outside of the 128 block sphere and then instantly despawning, and then that's using up that spawn cycle for that tick. So another couple of things we want to consider is we don't have a whole lot of resources, so we need to do something that's fairly resource efficient, fairly cheap, so we aren't going to be using pistons or anything like that. And we're going to have it centered on the center of our island here. We're also going to build it out of wood because I have a lot of wood. I've been terraforming the area around here, cutting down trees and such. Mostly focusing on that because we're going to have to get rid of that mountain at some point. And also because I'm going to want to move this at some point, and I can use an axe of stream or something similar to take it apart once the time comes for that, as we're going to build something else up here. But we're just going to build a temporary mob spawner here so we can start getting some stuff. To start with, we're going to use Etho's practical mob spawner as a basis. It has a few things that's not going to make it work for us, but we'll build one layer of it to look at it and see what we can use from that, and start customizing it to serve ourselves. So I'm going to also dig down 24 blocks from here so that we can have, I'll have the first layer just right here on the ground level. Then I'll dig down 24 blocks and have them just fall to their deaths. I'll probably eventually add a switch to knock them down to one hit, so I can use that for an experience farm as well. But let me get the first layer and the hole dug, and I'll be right back. Okay, this is one level of Etho's design. He intends for you to build this vertically, as many as you want, from 5 to 10. There are these 3x3 spawning pads with a half slab in the middle to prevent spiders, and a couple of extra spawning areas there above where the water streams are. That all pushes everything right here to the middle. This is 19 by 19, and each layer is 5 high and provides 100 spawning spaces in this current configuration. So if you were to build a 10 level spawner, you would have a 50 by 19 by 19 area, which is not ideal based on our spawning math, how they spawn, especially if we're going to be moving up and down a lot. The areas outside of the 128 block boundary would greatly decrease the efficiency. The most ideal configuration for a mob spawner would be probably a pyramid with the base oriented towards your most probable location in your base, or house, or whatever you want to call it. But since we're going to have really 2 different probable locations, I'm going to try to build something that's more diamond shaped, and we're going to use this as the basis for it because it does have the advantage of being cheap and not requiring any redstone or anything to function. It is slightly less efficient than the ones that use redstone, well, actually more than slightly less efficient, but for a initial try this should work out well. What we're going to start with is going to get rid of these extra spawning spots here on the sides, or on the 4 furthest points. And then here in the middle, we are going to get some signs. Put them here. And here. And then we're going to expand this up to be a bit bigger than the original design to prevent them getting bottlenecked right there. So we're going to have more mobs flowing through here than the original design. And we're going to go up here and have the next level centered around these. So we're going to have basically four of these centered on each of these points, and then continue to design that way. And I will be back once I've gotten that done. This is the second level. It has 40 spawning spaces, or 40 spawning pads compared to the 12 spawning pads of the level below it. And we have a 2 wide gap for things to fall down, because that's the edge of the lower level. There may be some clogging right here in the middle on the lower level, since you're having all of these come through that one area. I'm not sure on that, something I'm going to have to test out. But here is the exact center, and I haven't counted how far these are across, but it should be about twice as big as the one below it. And then we're going to expand out one more level, again centering on the 4 corners, and see how that does. So back to building. Oh yeah, I also have these spots here that have still water, but I don't think that's going to be a problem, not based on my test. It's kind of hard to hit right there in the center without getting caught in one of the flowing streams. Now I'll go build. Okay, that is built. We have the ethos layer on the top and bottom has 12 spawning pads. The second and fourth layer has 40 spawning pads. And the middle layer has 72 spawning pads. So it's, I think, around 15 of the ethos layers equivalent in terms of spawning space. I haven't lit up much of the caves around here, so it's not particularly efficient yet. I still have a lot to do, particularly in this area, but just as it's running now, it's working pretty well. It's not great, but it's better than what we had before. We'll probably want to do a little bit more work on it to improve it, at least what we're going to do with the mob drops, how to kill the mobs and all that stuff. But that's something for another episode. This is going to be it for this episode. Like if you like, subscribe if you're not. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.